Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Short Hops with manager Kevin Hooper. Short Hops is a weekly program that gives you, the fans, the opportunity to pose your questions to the Wichita Wingnuts manager, where he can provide us with his insights and ideas on baseball, sports, or the world in general. If you're interested in asking the manager questions of your own, please send them to us at askkevin@minorleaguesportsreport.com. Once again, that's askkevin@minorleaguesportsreport.com. Please have your questions to us by Friday at midnight so we can give the skipper a couple of days to review questions before we record the show on Monday morning. This week, Kevin joins us over the phone, so let's get right to Short Hop.
Well, we want to welcome back Kevin. We appreciate him joining us here again today. And the first question we have for you, Kevin, is because of the inconsistent way in which the team has been playing, do you think that this has given you the opportunity to prove really how good a manager you are?
You know, I feel like I really don't have to prove anything to anybody. I just try to go out and do my job as a manager and make this team the best we can make it. Wins and losses, you know, obviously that's my resume, and we've had the luxury to win a lot of games around here. And I couldn't tell you the last time we've been swept, which happened this weekend, and to be honest, I couldn't tell you the last time we've been in second place. So a little different territory right now. I mean, we're still 16-12. I think a lot of people will be happy to be 16-12. That's just kind of not been the standard around here the last couple of years the way we've been, and we'll do our due diligence, myself and our general manager, Josh Robertson, to, you know, if we feel like there's some pieces we need to fix of the puzzle, we'll go out and fix them.
Would it be a safe assumption to believe that because of the success that you have, especially over the last 3 years, I mean, it's just been an incredible run that you guys have been on, that sometimes people kind of take for granted the job that you've done and don't give you the credit that's due to you? Would you feel that that's an accurate assessment?
Yeah, but possibly. But like I said, I don't need any credit. I don't want any credit. All the credit goes to the players. And I always say, when we lose, I'll take all the blame, and when we win, I don't want any of the credit. I mean, that's just how I am, and I've got no problems with that. I had a buddy tell me one time, actually this offseason, he said the only thing bad about you and negative about you as a manager is that you've never lost. And you think about it, and he's right. We've never lost. We've never had a losing season. Well, I've been at the helm, and you know, when you win so many games, and I've talked about it quite a bit with my staff lately, you know, like you said, I think some people maybe take it for granted and overlook what we have accomplished, because it's been a pretty special run, and we've won a lot of games, and it's bound to happen. You're going to lose some games along the way, and that time's going to come where you're already going to lose some games. But in my mind, you know, you can say that that's negative about me as a manager or whatever, that I've never lost. So be it. I don't plan on losing. You know, that's just my mindset. But we're going to continue to win. We're going to continue to put a good product on the field.
Well, if that's the worst thing anybody has to say about you, I'm sure you'll happily.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, Mike would like to know, if you wouldn't mind sharing, what's the strategy that you use when you want to decide to bring an infield in?
Well, a lot of that is just dictated by the game. Just the game situation, the feel for me, maybe how early, how late. A lot of it depends for me on who's up to bat. I'm always a guy like second and third early in the game. Usually we're going to be playing the infield back because I'd rather just give up one than two. You know, you could play the infield in with a guy in second and third, and a little blooper that would have been caught normally is scoring both guys, whereas it may not have scored anybody before that. So early in the game, especially like second and third, we'll probably playing back. Top of the order, bottom of the order type guy. A lot of times early in the game, it'll be a feel on my end of things of the pitchers. If it's going to be a pitcher's duel, if we need to cut every runoff we can, if I think maybe the guy we're facing is locked in and it might be a tough night for us to even get a few across, then I might play the infield in also. So it's just a game situation, who's pitching, who's hitting, stuff like that. But I like to play the infield in. I like to take as many runs away as we can.
Blake from Emporia would like to know, since you were a middle infielder yourself during your playing days, what importance do you put on that as a manager, and what is your assessment of your current middle infielders?
Yeah, and for me, it's not just the middle infielders, it's the middle of the field. I try to build this thing around the middle of the field with, John Nestor having a great year he's having behind the plate. We've always had arguably the best catcher in the league. We've got two big leaguers in the middle, and Alberto and Luis, two guys that have spent time in the major leagues. So if you look at that, you really can't get a whole lot better there in the middle. And then your center fielder, Jace Ray, covers a lot of ground out there. Although he is a rookie and he still has a lot of learning to do in the game, we're very strong up the middle. And that's a great question because me being a middle guy, that's the number one thing that I look for when I'm building a team is we're going to build it from the middle and out.
Excellent. Somebody identifying themselves as We Love Taylor would like to know why Taylor Oldham was let go.
Well, Oldie was let go only because of an injury. His shoulder, he had some shoulder issues, and he just wasn't able to throw. We held on to him, actually. He made that diving play opening night, and since then he hadn't been able to throw. And we held on to him for about a week and a half there, hoping for the best, but it never got better. And, you know, when you can't throw and you can't play the field, it becomes a liability when you only have a 20-man roster. But the good news is, whoever asked this question is Oldham will be active today. He's better, and we're going to make that move and go back to two guys on the bench and have him as a utility guy starting again today.
Oh, well, that's good. See, so blessings happening there. Okay. Yeah. Ken from Wichita would like to know, he sees Dustin Geiger swinging the bat really well lately and wants to know what are some adjustments you see him making.
Yeah, we continue to work. We work with all these guys, and, you know, my hitting coach, Jose Amato, is the best in the business. I really believe that. He lives in that cage, and we're always out early working with guys. And, you know, for him, it's just keeping that right center approach. You know, so many guys get pole happy, and he's got a ton of power. And he's been really hot of late. He's caught fire here, and, you know, we're going to make some adjustments probably with the lineup today, and he's going to move back up there somewhere in the middle. So we'll give him that opportunity again. He was scuffling there for a little while, and we moved him down to the bottom, and, you know, he's kind of, like I said, caught fire and made quite a few adjustments. For him, as a lot of these guys, it's just staying with that approach of going to right center, letting the ball travel, let it get to him, as opposed to being out in front and everything and rolling over, which become easy outs for the opposing team. So a lot of adjustments that he's made, I think, and just trying to keep him to stay to the middle of the field.
As a manager, when a guy gets hot like that that's near the bottom of the order, is there a tendency for you to say, well, I'm going to move him up, or do you say, because he's hitting so well on the spot, I'd rather leave him here?
Yeah, it's a little of both. I think it's, once again, a field thing, maybe how the middle of the lineup is producing, how we're doing up there, and if I think we need help up there, maybe. But a lot of times if a guy is successful in a spot, I'll keep him in that groove, and he's been there for a long time now, and down at the bottom hitting 7th and 8th, and, you know, I think maybe it's time to give him that opportunity again to hit in the middle and see if he can become a big run producer for us.
Excellent. Jesus from Kansas City would like to know, do you address your team before or after every game, or both?
I do not. I do not address them as a group, no. Our pitchers stretch at 3 every day. Our positions players stretch at 4. A lot of times I'll address them as a group, just, you know, all the pitchers together if there's something we need to cover, all the position players. But no, there's not a time unless I'm having a meeting like Sunday when we're not playing real well, and I gotta put my foot down. No, I don't really address them as a group unless there's something they need to know about an event or bus time, stuff like that. But no, it's not an everyday thing before or after where I meet with them as a group to discuss things. I only do that if there's situations or stuff that we need to discuss and need to cover.
We have a few questions from Mike from Wichita. The first one he'd like to ask is that it appears to him that you've been running a lot more lately, and he would like to know, is this an indication of the teams you're playing, so you're running more because of the opponents themselves, or is it just you're seeing a greater ability to steal with your club right now?
A little bit of both. We obviously set the league record last year in stolen bases, and we don't have as much team speed this year, but we've still stolen quite a few bases, and that's what we do here. I was a base stealer. I'm always thinking like a base stealer. Jose is great at first base. We've got a great routine between the two of us, and have had a lot of success doing it. And we have a plan. We have a plan of attack of what we're going to do on the base pass, and try to fulfill that plan. And we've had a lot of success lately in running. I know we got taught quite a bit early on, but now we've had a lot more success of running and being smart about it, because we're not just going to run to run. We're going to run in smart situations. So I think it's a little bit of both. Maybe the teams we're playing catch we're facing, a lot of it determines on the time the pitcher is to the plate, on whether we're running or not, how quick he is to the plate or not.
I think fans would be interested about the 2 double steals that you pulled this last week. Was that something that you just thought was the opponent was right on, or you're just looking for a situation?
Yeah, we're just looking for a situation. We're looking to add a run anywhere we can, and both those have been with 2 outs, where we will find a way to just try to steal a run. And if the guys, I'm always communicating with the guy on third, and Jose's always communicating with the guy on first. And like I said, Jose and I have a little sign that we might give where we're going to try to steal one. And we've been able and had success doing that twice this last week, and we'll try to continue to do so when the time is right.
Mike also asked, is there anybody in your club that you just give the green light to steal whenever they feel the opportunity is available?
Everybody on our team has a green light. So that's just kind of how I am. We all have the green light unless I have to take it away from somebody, and that's never been the case. So, even the middle of the lineup guys, it's funny in a game of baseball, no one expects those middle lineup guys to run, so they'll kind of fall asleep on you. We've had a lot of success of those bigger guys, middle lineup guys, maybe never stealing any bases in the past, and they come here and they have some success doing it. So just, kind of catching the opponent asleep a little bit, catching them off guard, and it opens up a lot of situations to steal some bases.
Yeah, I think last season Brent Cleveland and Carlo Testa had 20-something stolen bases each at the 4 and 5 spot. So.
Right, absolutely.
Interesting. Mike, would also like to know, because of some of the way that the club has been struggling offensively, have you talked or been interested in bringing back some of the players that have retired from last year's club?
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to have all those guys back, but they're all pretty much set on being retired. It was quite the group we had, and Rhino and Jake and Chris McClendon, Chris McMurray, Testa, as you mentioned before. But all those guys decided they want to move on from baseball. So they're dearly missed around here, but I also, like I stated earlier, I think we have to be here to do the same thing we did last year. So we need to pick it up a notch and get things going and hopefully have another successful season.
Olaf, which sounds like he should live more here in Minnesota than in Kansas, is interested in knowing where you look for players as the season is going along. So, like, now that you're in the season and you're trying to find somebody, where would you look?
Just use all my connections. And when we have a need, I'll just send a mass text out or email some guys, or even pick up the phone and call some guys that I trust and rely on in recruiting guys. Use all my scout connections, my agents, all the managers that are still in the game that I know, other players on our team, stuff like that. So we get emails. We'll probably get 20 emails a day of guys wanting to come play for you. So, use any and all these sources, and a lot of guys are reaching out to you wanting to play. So try to find the need that to fit your squad, and there's always a lot of needs during the season. So it's I feel like I've built I've got a lot of connections in the game, and my phone book is pretty large, and I'm very fortunate to have the connections I have and have met the people I've met to use all those in finding a player.
Is that hard to kind of weed out? Okay, so let's say, for example, you're getting 20 emails a day about players. How do you weed out where to even begin at for guys?
Yeah, you just go through them, and maybe if you run across a guy who played at a college where I know the coach, or I know a guy that maybe played with him, or know somebody that knows the coach, you try to do as much research as you can. A lot of times there isn't a need throughout the season. You're happy with what you have, and you're really not looking for anything. So kind of stick those emails to the side and put them in my baseball file, and if there ever becomes a need, I go back to them and try to pluck maybe a guy that you think can help you.
Ken from Olaf would like to know if there's a team in the league that you find a little harder to prepare for just because they play a different style of baseball than everybody else.
I think they're all hard to prepare for at times. Everybody's unique and different, play the game a different way. Some teams won't run at all. Some teams have a lot of speed. I'd say Gary's a good example because of the way Greg has those guys playing the game. They're more of a small ball team. They're never going to be a power hitting team, and they're guys that are going to put pressure on and make you throw strikes. When they get on, they're going to bump guys over early in the game. They're going to hit and run a lot. They're going to get guys moving, trying to put pressure on the defense. So Gary's probably the most intriguing one. just because of the style of their play, the small ball play. Like I said, not much power, but they're going to put pressure on you and make you throw pitches. And they lead the league in hit by pitches right now, so they do anything they possibly can to get on first base, and that can get to some guys, and you can't let them get to you. And you just got to stick with the game plan of pounding the zone, throwing strikes, and making put the ball in play. But I would say they are definitely a team that you got to prepare a little different for.
Stan from Wichita would like to know how independent baseball has changed, in your opinion, from when the first year you were a player to now as a manager.
I think it's changed a lot. I think the talent level has gotten so much better, so much better. It's totally different from when I came in '08. Indie ball has become a bigger deal. I know a lot more people know about it now, and I think a lot more people believe that it is a great level of baseball, where in the past, when I started in '08, guys would hear about indie ball and just be like, yeah, I don't know, whereas now, I think it's a good way for guys to continue playing and maybe just got released who's never had a taste of indie ball. I think that they're hearing, hey, it may not be a bad route to get there and play a little bit to get back into affiliated ball. So it's improved a lot. I really believe that it's improved. The talent's improved. We've got some great managers in our league, I know, and it's just improved all around, and it's been fun to watch year in and year out just get better and better and watch the talent get better and better.
Twitter Nut would like to know, with social media dominating everywhere, do you have rules regarding when players can use their phones?
Yeah, phones are not allowed in the clubhouse to talk. They can text all they want in the clubhouse, but if they're going to talk on the phone in respect to their teammates, they're going to go out in the hallway or outside or somewhere else. But, I'm not a social media guy. I don't have a Twitter account. I don't have a Facebook account. I really have no interest in it. My wife keeps me posted on anything I need to know through Facebook, so she's my channel for that. But no, if I hear about something else, somebody maybe saying something on Twitter or Facebook, maybe they probably shouldn't have said it, either myself or Josh Robertson or Gene, and we'll probably have a conversation about it. So I just mentioned at the beginning of the year, don't do anything. There's no reason to be. Social media is so big these days. Anybody and everybody sees what you're saying. So, just don't be out of line with anything that you're saying because you are representing our organization.
Nice. Ted from Oklahoma City asked, do you feel it's cheap to try to bunt for a hit in the 8th or 9th inning of a no-hit game?
That's a tough question because I was a small ball guy and bunting was a big part of my game. For me, my answer to that would be, I don't necessarily know if it's cheap. I would maybe say if it's a 1-0 ball game and you got to find a way to get to first base, and bunting is going to be the way and it's part of your game, I don't see any way that that's cheap. Because for me, what's the difference? I get it. The guy may be 6 outs away from throwing a no-hitter, but what if he gave up a bunt single in the 2nd inning? That's the only hit he gave up. As far as I'm concerned, what's the difference? So that's just kind of the way I look at it. That's one of those unwritten rule things where guys believe that you're not supposed to bunt late in the game. But baseball is baseball, as far as I'm concerned. You play the game, whether it's team's got 10 hits or no hits. You play the game, and you play the game to win. And in that situation, if it's like a 1-0 ball game, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Henry from Butler mentions that he's heard you talk about users of steroids, and when with Alex Rodriguez reaching 3,000 hits, how would you separate these guys' achievements from the rest of others?
It's another tough question. I know you and I had that conversation about steroids either last week or the week before, and my thoughts on it. My beliefs on it, and I don't agree with it. But like I've stated before, there's a lot of guys in the game, I think, throughout that process that we didn't know about whether they did or not, and it's up in question. So it's kind of tough to say some guys did not knowing that they did, or some guys didn't not knowing that they didn't. I talk about it all the time. Steroids are going to make you stronger, and they're going to enhance the muscles and all that, but you still have to have the hand-eye coordination to hit a baseball. I do know that steroids probably aren't going to give you an advantage in that. Those guys are special players. Those guys are special players that make it up there and play for a long time. And I hate to take anything away from those guys because, like I said, they're special players. They're very confident in their abilities, and they're very consistent at what they do year in and year out. You don't get 3,000 hits not being consistent with what you do, and being consistent for many years. So it's just a tough subject. It's a sore subject, and it's just tough to the asterisk talk and all that stuff. It's just it's a tough subject and tough to determine on like the question asked. How do you go about putting an asterisk or taking away from it when I believe there's a lot of guys that did it that you don't even know about that did it. So tough question. I honestly don't know if I have a correct answer for it.
And I think your candor about it is one of the most essential parts, is that it's not really an easy question to answer.
It really isn't. It just because of the unknowns of it, I think. I know we know a lot of guys did it, but we don't know everybody that did it. I guarantee you there's a lot of guys that didn't get popped that used it. So, and it's tough for everybody because everybody questioned during that time of whether guys did or didn't. They might question that guys used it that maybe just worked so hard and their bodies flourished throughout the years and never used it, So it's just a little unfair, I think, with all the talk of it. And as you stated, it's a tough answer for sure.
Leon from Kansas City would like to know, when your pitching coach goes out to talk to pitchers, what are the kinds of things you want him to say?
I think that's up to Luke. Luke Roberts is my pitching coach. I think he's I trust in Luke and his abilities as a pitching coach, that when he's going to walk out there, he's going to tell the guy what he needs to tell him. A lot of times we run out there just to give the guy a breather, just kind of slow the situation down. Something got real fast in a hurry, we got ourselves into trouble, and we're just going out there to give the guy a breather and catch a blow and tell him to slow down and relax and all that stuff. So I trust in him. There's really nothing specific I want him to tell him. If there is, I will tell him that, and he'll go out and tell him. But more often than not, he's going out there to talk to him and tell him what he feels like. Maybe it's a little mechanical thing that he's struggling with, but he'll just try to send a reminder to him.
I think a lot of people might be interested in, when managers go out to the mound, are you always talking baseball with the person, or is sometimes it's got nothing to do with the game at all?
Yeah, there's times where you go out there and you just make light of something. You try to put a smile on somebody's face, you try to make your infielders laugh, stuff like that. So I talk about picking your spots a lot, in a lot of things that I do, and that's a situation there that maybe you run out there and you might get on a guy real quick, and then I'm always a positive guy, and you try to lighten up the situation just to get him relaxed. So yeah, there's times definitely where I go out there and maybe just have something funny to say to try to lighten the atmosphere and to get him relaxed and get going again and get back on track.
Mitch from Topeka would like to know what your favorite team was you played for.
It's got to be the Detroit Tigers. They gave me the opportunity to play in the major leagues and fulfill my dream. My favorite minor league team by far is the Toledo Mud Hens. That was a pretty special 3 years I had there. We won back-to-back championships in 2005 and 2006, and so I have a lot of friends from those teams, and those were some special times in my career for sure.
Skyler would like to ask, he sees that a lot of players are playing baseball year-round, going to Australia or South America during the winter here. Do you think that's too much baseball for them to play?
Yeah, I do think there becomes a point where it can be too much. Just like anything else in this game, you got to pick your spots, I believe. You can't go play winter ball and wear yourself out not to be ready for the next season over here in the States. So, Tim Brown's a prime example. He goes to Australia every year and plays at that club level, and I know that they were using him quite a bit this winter. He was making a start in the club level, then he'd go up to the ABL and go for the big guys up there, and I know they were throwing him a lot. So, and that makes me a little nervous being one of my guys on how wore out he's going to be during the season for us. So it's just something you got to monitor, I think, as a player or as a manager, that you obviously don't want your guys getting too much and too wore out, because it becomes a grind. I mean, we put in a lot of hours in this game, and there's a lot of work that goes with it, and you got to get away from it at times.
What kind of things do you do to pass the time on long bus rides?
Watch movies. We watch a lot of movies on the bus. Watch Sports Center a lot. Any sporting event that's on, we'll watch. Especially when we drive our nicer bus, which has satellite TV. I talk to my kids. Obviously, if my daughters are playing softball, my wife will take video of them, so I'm watching video of them while I'm on the bus. And there's a lot of times where I'm shooting out texts or looking guys up, because there's a need. We figure there's a need. So there's a lot of times where I'm spending time on the bus trying to find some players and trying to find the right fit for our team. So a lot of different things. Spend a lot of hours on a bus and hopefully going to for quite some time. But it's fun. It can be a grind at times on the long ones, but it's all worth it because once you get to the place that you're heading, you get to put that uniform on again.
Concerned mom, who had a couple of questions for us last week, asked this week, do you have good tips to protecting your younger kids who want to pitch?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in, I don't know exactly an age that I'd say, but you got to be careful throwing breaking balls early on. And I think coaches should have a pitch count on kids when they're younger, especially this day and age with all the Tommy John stuff going on. It's crazy how many guys this day and age are having Tommy John surgeries. So it's just something, once again, that I think kind of goes back to the winter ball question of you have to monitor everything. You've got to monitor everything and try to keep these kids as fresh and as healthy as they can be, because you just don't want to wear them out. You don't want to wear them out. You don't want to lose love for the game and lose that passion just because you're out there wearing them out on the mound and he's tired every time he goes out. So I would just say monitor. Hopefully their coaches have a pitch count on them and aren't abusing them, because they got a long ways to go in life and a long ways to go in the game, hopefully, that needs to be monitored, especially this day and age at a young age.
Since you brought up Tommy John surgery, Bill from Wichita would like to know why you think so many players are needing that these days, and what are suggestions you have to help protect people from needing the surgery?
I think I pretty much just covered the suggestions in the last question. Just making sure we're keeping track of pitches and how many, and maybe for younger kids not throwing as much, maybe in between tournaments or in between games. You got to let it rest at times. You got to let it rest. It's just so much wear and tear, and it's not a natural motion throwing a baseball for anybody. And I don't know about the Tommy John surgeries. I honestly think maybe just technology has become so good and so big. I'm guessing if you went back and had the same technology we have today, there would have been a lot of more Tommy John surgeries back in the day. So I truly believe, I don't know if it's really anything different. I think that they're just finding the issue a little more often.
Dave from Wichita would like to know, his son is interested in playing football, and do you have suggestions to lean him more towards baseball?
I don't know if I would have any suggestions. I'm a firm believer in today's youth, let them try what they want to try and not being pushy towards any sport. I let my girls do whatever they want, and if they try something and don't like it, I'm not going to force it upon them. That's just my beliefs as a father, and with my children, that I don't think anything needs to be pushed on anybody. I think it'd be neat that it sounds like the dad might want him to play baseball. I don't know if he's leaning towards trying to get him away from football, but maybe it's something you just ease into on the baseball side of things. Just ease into it and kind of feel the passion for it. And if you feel there's some passion, then maybe push it a little further and try to get him involved a little more.
Hal from Oklahoma City saw recently where Clayton Kershaw had thrown a temper tantrum in a dugout and wants to know, do you think that's ultra competitiveness, or is this an adult acting like a child?
No, I think it's ultra competitiveness. That guy's a competitor, a big time competitor. I'm sure people see it maybe as acting as a child, and you could say that a lot about guys in the game, that something happens when they go in the dugout and they blow some stuff up. I mean, that's just letting some fuel out, letting some anger out. I think with Kershaw's incident, I think that a lot of stuff happened. I don't think it was just his outing. I think it was the way the Dodgers had been playing, and just some stuff that was going on around that team where, maybe they'd been scuffling a little bit. And the game of baseball, they're playing it every single day. And if you're scuffling, it becomes a team-oriented thing, and a lot of frustrations come out from people. And I think that he just kind of hit a wall right there and let some emotions out in the dugout and let them fly. So that's just going to happen. I try to tell my guys, if you're going to do it, I'd like you to do it down the tunnel where no one can see you, because it's going to happen. But there's no reason to be blowing some stuff up in the dugout and something go flying, and heaven forbid somebody else get hit with something, because then that turns into a big situation, and a bad situation at times. So, but I don't think I think he's just competitive. I think Clayton is a fierce competitor, and and some stuff that probably built up, and he needs to let it out, and he let it out in the dugout.
I've always thought it's interesting that people will see a guy bashing the water cooler as acting childish, but a rock band who destroys a hotel room because there's green M&Ms in the candy dish is looked at as cool.
Yeah, exactly. Well stated, and that's just the vision of athletes, especially professional athletes, because we're in the limelight, and it's, especially this day and age, there's a camera everywhere, and people get to see it. And learned a long time ago, everybody's going to have their opinion on something and everything. That's okay. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong, but everybody's going to have their opinion. So that's just my opinion. That he's a ultra competitor and just lets some emotions fly. So, and there's certain ways, like I said, there's certain ways to go about it in my mind, but at times that's going to happen.
Stan from Wichita would like to know, who's your favorite baseball player of all time?
Ozzie Smith. Ozzie Smith was my idol growing up, and I've been fortunate enough I got to meet him twice, and wonderful, wonderful human being. I was a lot like him growing up. I could really play defense, and I wasn't the biggest guy around. So what a perfect guy to idolize. And the guy spent a long time in the major league, long time Gold Glover. And, my game was similar to his, like I said, where I could really play defense. I could run a little bit, and I wasn't the biggest guy around. So try to learn and watch as much as I could from him, and what I got to do that from. Some very special memories in my childhood, just idolizing him and watching him and trying to learn from him and the way he went about his business.
Did that mean when you entered into games at the start of them, you did a big backflip as you headed to short? Or?
No, absolutely not. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do that, nor have I ever tried. So, no, that was just, we'll leave that to Ozzie and that being his his repertoire and having the limelight doing that. That was pretty neat that he'd go out and do that, though. That was always something that I look forward to seeing for sure.
Oh, I think the Kevin Hooper backflip would have been cool. So. Okay, and our last question from Katie, who is interested to know if you're a dog or a cat person or both.
Definitely not both. Definitely not a cat guy, and I love dogs. So, dog guy 100%. We had a yellow lab. Unfortunately, she passed away last year at the age of 8. She had cancer, and she was the best dog ever. And I grew up around dogs, and you'll like my lab's name. Her name was Ribby. It's what we call an RBI, is a Ribby. So that was we always like to have baseball related names around here. And we actually just got a new puppy about 7 months ago. We got a boxer, and her name is Winnie. So as my daughter will tell you, the Hoopers like to win. So we named her Winnie. So no, definitely a dog lover. I've always loved dogs, and haven't had a big interest ever in cats. Not a big cat fan at all.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Kevin.
Rob, thanks for the time as always.
We want to thank manager Kevin Hooper for joining us on Short Hops this week. Once again, if you have questions you'd like to pose to the Wichita Wingnuts manager, please send them to us at askkevin@minorleaguesportsreport.com. That's askkevin@minorleaguesportsreport.com. Please have your questions to us at midnight, so we ensure that we give the skipper a couple of days to review those questions. The Wingnuts have a big series with the Joplin Blasters this weekend, so we're sure there are going to be some great questions related to that series and what's going on with the Wingnuts as a club. So we look forward to hearing what Kevin's got to offer us next week. We thank you for joining us here on Short Hops this week. I'm Rob Pannier, the managing editor of the Minor League Sports Report, and we look forward to seeing